Hey racing fans, thanks for taking the time to check out the channel today. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about how I'm going to be saving myself some space as I try to neaten up my little racing room here. And what you're looking at is the back of my rig. And you can see underneath here, that's where I currently have my PC and my PS5. I've got some horrible cable action going on over there. My brake cable is dismantled. I've got my secondary wheel. I've got a USB-C cable there, my gloves, and my gaming TV. Now this room that I get to use is only 6 by 10, so it triples as my office where I do my video and photo editing, any administrative work that I have to do, and I also play my guitar. Well, I destroyed my guitar in this room, and that wire thing, that steel thing on the wall, that's my guitar holder. So what's going on is that a couple of days ago I realized that my USB-C cable from my DD Pro wheel wasn't working for some reason, because I wasn't getting any response from my gas pedal or brake pedal, so I switched that. And then on top of it, I had to move my racing room from this great space over here, where I was using for the last 3 or 4 months. It's our basement, and I really love this space over here because I had both of my rigs going on with that one TV on the wall, and I moved my gaming TV over, so I was able to have the ASR3 and my FGT light side by side. Had friends over, it was amazing. But I have to come back to this space over here. So now that I moved it back here to the very original space that I was using, I decided I should try to make it look a little neater, and at this time also move the PC and the PS5 from that place on the floor there to hide it somewhere back there for now, maybe behind the TV, or if possible way in the corner back over there, out of the way. So the reason I'm making this video is because this morning I went to Best Buy and I bought some cables, and I'm going to show you in a second. I'll just actually bring the camera over here. Okay, so these are the cables that I got. Just let me lock this down here. Alright, so I got myself a new USB-C cable. So that goes from the wheelbase into the PS5. And knowing that I want to have the possibility of moving the PS5 out of the way, I got a 10-foot long cable. I also got a hub so that I can neaten up some of these wires. You know, when we see all those amazing rigs on Instagram, on YouTube and all that, and everybody looks really fancy in their $30 million house? Well, I noticed that they don't have any cable showing, but in reality, when you do have the cables showing, because everybody has cables to make it work, you want to neaten it up so there's not a mishmash of wires going on, right? So I got this hub so that also that I can extend the distance that I have the PlayStation from my rig, and that way I can kind of neaten up this room also. So not very expensive. And what's really going to make this work is this extension. It's a 12-foot extension, and I know my USB is only 10, so I'm bound by the shortest length. But by having this 12-foot extension here, I can hide the wires better, and I can move the PlayStation further away. Now, right now I know that I'm going to have the PlayStation closer to the monitor, so I don't need a super long HDMI cable. But this is going to help me move the PS5 further from the rig. And so I had to buy basically double because I have the PC also, so I've got another hub to go with the peripherals for that, and another extension here. Now, something I want to show you about when you get a really long USB cable. If you've never seen these before, they are very thick. Alright, so I'm just going to grab another USB cable and show you the difference here. So this is the original regular USB cable. Now this is the extender, and look how thick that is. So that's good, right? Because it's got a longer way to go, so that means you're getting a pretty good product here. And these are all Insignia brand. Can you see that there? So I've used this before. It's not expensive, so I'm gonna go with it. And for all this, I think my bill was $182. That's at Best Buy, and that's in Canadian prices. I also have here from before some Velcro cable ties, which are great for keeping everything in order. And I've got this multi-use label pack here. Stickers, basically small enough to organize my cables so that I'm not, banging my head against the wall as I try to have everything organized when I go to connect all the peripherals. Alright, so in this 6x10 room, I'm just going to try to make things a little bit neater. Now what I've had to do is this desk over here, it's an old table from my wife's family, and I have been using it for a few years, but I'm going to get rid of this and just create more space up front, more depth, so I can move the rig closer to the wall ahead of me, and then eventually I'm going to build some kind of cabinet, or maybe find some cabinet from a store so I can store the PS5, the PC, soundbar, and all that other stuff that I have, so I can make it look neat. Because it's got to work in my office, and I'm sure I'm like you, I don't get a huge room to do this. So I've got to make everything work in this one room. So what I've also done here, if you're looking to see how you can make all this work in your place, I've taken, this is a plank of wood. Oh. What I've done here is I've taken this piece of wood and I'm going to make this as my makeshift desk. Now this is 1 foot wide by 5 feet. Okay, so that is just one of the ways that I'm going to save space so that I can do multiple things in this room. That's going to be my new desk, and I'm probably not going to keep the chair here, but at some point I will have to, move the chair in and out. But I do have my rig on sliders. So you see I'm moving it with one hand, and let me try to zoom in here so you can see that. Can you see that? That's a slider. It allows me to slide the rig on the carpet so that I can have this space just like that to move it in and out, and then I can pull my chair in and out. And I haven't mounted this piece of wood to the wall yet because I'm just trying it just to see how I can make things work again, so I can do multiple things in this room, because I don't have a 30 by 30 or 30 by 60 dream office, workspace, man cave, anyway, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect all these cables, and when I come back, this space down here below that table slash desk should look a lot neater, and the PC and the PS5 will not be on the floor. They'll hopefully be hidden nicely back there behind the TV. I've got some room to work with. Alright, stay tuned, I'll be right back. Hey everyone, I'm back now that I've replaced my old USB cables. I've added a couple of hubs so that I can move my PC and my PS5 behind the TV, And I've done that, and the reason I've done that is so that I can move my rig in and out of my space, so that I can move my office chair back and forth as freely as I need to. Now, just to show you exactly how little space I have in this room, here's the tape measure, and I'll zoom this later to show you that it's only 6 feet wide, so it goes to right there. This is the space that I have, and the room is only 10 feet deep. So again, it's because I've got different things going on in here. I've got my rig for the sim racing. I've got my new editing space, which I'm just trying out this piece of wood to see if that's going to work. I'm going to have to cut it off at this end. I'm going to have to cut it off on the other end where that shelf is there. This is also where I try to play my guitar, and that's why that rack is on the wall. And yeah, this room is generally where I do my editing and any administrative work that I have to do. So 3 things going on in this room. It's the only room I get, just to show you that if you are looking for a space in your room, what you can do. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, I'm just going to move the camera over here. That's where I had the PS5 and the PC, down in that space. Down in that space right there. So they are not on the floor anymore. You can see the bottom of the PC there and the PS5 at the bottom behind the TV, and eventually I'll get rid of this table so that I won't have this big gap in front here. I'll put something else. I was thinking about mounting the TV to a wall, but I do love having people over, so we can have side-by-side racing. When I pull out my other rig, it's way more fun when you're right beside the person and you're battling. So now what I'm going to do, just going to try to get this camera to stay still here. I'm going to show you how, because I've added those 10-foot cables, how I can just slide this chair. So I'm going to do that. And you see how much room I have here? Right? So I could move this chair anywhere, the rig anywhere I want to, and have my office chair in and out as much as I want to. It's that easy. So if you're dying for space, well, I'm dying for space too, but I'm going to show you how it's all going to work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera off the tripod, and I'm going to show you close up of how I hooked everything up, and we'll talk some more about this setup. Okay, in this shot, what we're looking at is how I've run my cables down the side of my rig. It's actually a lot neater than what it was before. Okay, so I've got the cabling coming here. It's all at the front. And then it comes down to the side over here. So really you can't see it from the back, and I'll try to remember to show you in a second. And I've got everything into this hub over here. Okay, now just let me zoom in on that. Alright. So there's the hub, and I've got everything labeled. And then it goes out to just one cable. Okay, one for the PS5 and one for the PC. I believe I'm hooked up to the PC now because I was playing, I tried WRC Generations on this just to make sure that everything worked. And I've got my other cable there. Now that is the plug that actually goes to the PS5. Now one thing I want to point out, it's very important to know that yes, I have 10 or 12 foot cables, and so I could pull this rig out very far, but the limit right now is only as far as that actual plug that powers the PS5, that powers the wheel from the PS5. So if your plug is very short, that's your limitation. So you only get about maybe 4 or 5 feet. Now what I could do, what I'm going to try to remember, go to the store and get an extended plug. Now it's not difficult at all. You can find it online, whatever. That's something I found that I'm gonna have to do, but it's really easy to just unplug it, like in this case right now, just to show you. Now you see the cable here is all coiled up just because I had it wrapped up and out of the way. But when you pull it out, obviously you can see I've got more to go because it's coiled up. So that's great. Now let's get further into my hubs over here. Just give me one sec. Okay, here we are. This is the hub that I've labeled as a PC. So I've got one for the mouse, I've got a cord for the keyboard, I've got one for my Husingfeld handbrake, and I've got this one for the wheelbase. So all I did to connect it to the side of my rig here, you can see it's attached to the side. I used Velcro, mounted a piece to the rig and mounted another piece to the hub. And I just tried to tuck in the cables on the side here. Now really, no one's gonna see this other than me. And I've mounted my cable. I've got that hidden here for the wheelbase. That's underneath there. Now as I swing around to the other side, I've got my, that is the, what do you call it, transformer, or this is my power source for the PS5, and I've got this labeled also, and this is for the wheelbase. So this is also velcroed to the back of my pedal plate here, just so that when I'm moving it around I have very little to move. And I see this connection. This is for, sorry, this connection here, this is for the hub. It just goes right in here. Now that's for the hub, okay, as you can see. So the hub is not very long, the hub wire is not very long, but remember that really thick extension that I got? It can be as long as you want, so that's great. And here are my sliders right here to make it easy for me to move the rig anywhere I want. Right there, I got them online, but I noticed they have them at Staples also. And you see back here I've got my handbrake wired, so you can't really see anything from the front. It's really that easy. Now you can see all the space that I have here on this side. I just quickly turn this around. I can pull this out as much as I want. And over here is the hub for the PS5. So I'll just grab that. Okay, PS5. So same thing, whenever I want to connect that, I've got, you know, 4 ports. I've got 4 ports that I can use over here. So I can just disconnect it from here, which will just be basically the wheelbase, and just plug it into my hub for the PS5, and I'm good to go. And that's how easily I can jump back and forth from PC to PS5. And then we go back here, and here's my PC and my PS5 hidden back here. Alright, so again, just to show you, this room is only 10 by 6, but I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, they don't have enough room in their apartment or bedroom or living room or whatever to get a rig, because I've just shown you exactly how you can do it and how you can free up space and do multiple things in one room. Alright, so if you have any questions on where to get those cables, and you know what, there are so many other videos out there that you can look at that'll show you about, you know, running it better so that you can hide the cables. I'm not going to be able to do that just because I'm going to have to pull the rig out and put it in the other side, where I showed you so we can have side-by-side racing. But yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully this helped you get one step closer to getting a rig if you're dying for space. Thanks for watching. Have fun racing, and we'll catch you in the next video.